All right, we're back. What's going on? Welcome. That's some cheese. Myself, Trey Dalbert. Milo's here.
How's it going, Trey? Good to be here, man.
It's going. So you're here to talk some baseball stuff. I have a few rants. I don't know where we want to start. I have no notes. So this is totally up to you.
Lay it on me. I want to hear what you got.
Lay it on you. Okay.
All right. Yeah, I want to hear your rants. I'm curious, dude.
Okay. The number one rant that bothers me, and I want to start here because this team actually made the playoffs. The New York Mets, man. I mean, I sang it from the clouds. Billy Epler, what are you doing? Darren Ruff, that's your that's your trade deadline move. Darren Ruff is what you're going to convince us that this is the missing bat. Tyler Naquin, like the guys that Billy Epler was trading for at the deadline, that he was going to convince the Met fans, the team that had the highest payroll in the history of the sport, that this was the missing piece.
Is it really a surprise to you, though, that J.D. Davis is doing well with the Giants?
No, it's not a surprise. It's not a surprise because I said the whole time that he was just a better player. And then you lumped in three prospects on top of that to get a worse guy. Is Darren Ruff even going to be healthy? Or, yeah, not even healthy. If he is healthy, are they even going to have him on the active roster for the playoffs?
Well, the thing was with Darren Ruff, when he was a Giant, he was a platoon player. Like he was playing alongside. Yeah, I mean, he was playing with like Lamont Wade Jr. and, he was splitting time because he was a lefty killer. He goes to the Mets. He gets a lot more playing time. And so his true talents are exposed. And the fact of the matter is he's not that good of a baseball player.
No, he's never been a good baseball player.
He's just a platoon guy. He's like the dream platoon guy. He's a lefty killer. That's all he is. That's all he ever was.
He's a negative 1.6 WAR player this year. Negative.
Pathetic. I mean,
the Mets fans could have told you he wasn't good.
Yeah.
They watched him in the division for how many years? This is a guy that, he played in Japan for 4 years in a row?
To figure it out. Didn't help him one bit.
And now he's 35.
Yeah.
We're talking about a guy that spent 4 years in Japan and now he's 35, and that was your missing trade deadline piece.
Yeah.
Give me a fucking break, Met fans. Give me a fucking break.
He wasn't no Eric Thames. I think he actually came from Korea, but still, you get those players that go overseas to try to figure their swing out.
Which is fine. I have no issue with that. I have an issue with that if you're going to sell me that that's the missing piece to a World Series team for a team that's had the highest payroll in the history of the sport. That I have an issue with.
And look what happened. They slipped.
Look what happened. 10.5 game lead in July, right? Gone. Yep. Braves win the division again. And it's so important this year to win the division because otherwise they would have had a first round bye. And now they're talking about not using DeGrom. They're going to be like, they're not going to use DeGrom against the Padres here coming up. And then if they even win that, they get your Dodgers. And if they had just won the division and had actually, I know you don't like JD Martinez, but let's just say they trade for JD Martinez. They win the division. They do. Just anybody who's a respectable bat in that spot. They've given away games. They win the division.
He's a better right-handed bat than Darren Ruff, that's for sure. And
they
then any
win
of
the
their
division.
catching. I think there's an important aspect here that, we haven't even touched on. That's the fact that they waited way too long to call up Francisco Alvarez. What the hell were they waiting for? You look at them.
He's even ready.
Yeah. But I think he was, because you look at Tomas Nido, you look at James McCann and their offensive production, worst catching duo in all of baseball. There are back catchers.
That's another thing. Why not trade for Wilson Contreras?
The Cubs wanted to get rid of him. The Cubs
You can't tell me that Darren Ruff is the missing piece to a World Series team. I'm sorry.
Goodness no. And this might come back to bite him. They might have a first-round exit.
Come back to bite him. He should already be thrown in prison for not winning the division. For already putting him in the spot, he should be thrown in prison.
Yeah. It's crazy, too. I'm surprised they won 101 games. I mean, they basically had the same team last year, It's crazy to think about.
Well, sure. DeGrom has been healthy. Scherzer has been a monster addition. But when you have a massive payroll, you can get away with a lot of sins.
Yep.
This team has committed several sins that they have gotten away with. And the one that I just talked about last night, Jeff McNeil won the batting title.
Yep.
The Mets tried to trade him. The Mets wanted to give him away.
Yep. And he's a utility guy. He can play anywhere on the field, and he's arguably the best.
Always going to hit. That fucking guy is always going to hit. And
he's not a power guy. I mean, but he is the best contact hitter in all of baseball. He's a throwback player. I love how much he chokes up on that bat. He's a great player to watch. He's fun. I'd like to see what he does against the Padres pitching.
He was almost in the Diaz deal. Francisco Lindor tried to get him out the door in the offseason. I just know he would have been on my team.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. And I think
I have a real issue with the Mets.
Yeah.
Real issue. And if they don't win the World Series this year, and yes, that should be the bar, considering where they started out the season, and then how Billy Epler told us that what he had was enough. I think at least getting to the World Series should be the bar.
Yeah. I mean, it's the bar for a lot of teams. I mean, you see this World Series or bust attitude with the Dodgers, with the Braves, teams like that. I'd even throw the Astros in there. The postseason wasn't.
Let's say you're a Braves fan and they go home early this year. Are you really going to be that upset? Like, obviously, you're going to be upset, but you just won the World Series last year. You got some, you're not going to crush them this year, right?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
There's more competition this year. There's more competition.
Exactly.
The Dodgers are a better team. Dodgers are a better team. Mets are a better team. You have a lot more competition in the National League this year than last year.
That's my whole point. Nobody's going to no Atlanta Braves fans going to sit at home this year and going to be like, well, you know what? It wasn't our year. That's probably what the common response will be. You're a Met fan. You're a diehard Met fan. You've been sitting and watching this team for a long time. Don't sit here and tell me that playoff exit is okay. No, sir. This is your year. This is the year you went all in. This is the year you spent $45 million a year for Max Scherzer. This is the year that your owner said, we'll do whatever it takes. World Series or nothing.
I mean, the same could be said, honestly, too, with the Padres. But obviously, they've underperformed to the maximum level with all the signings. I mean, they won the trade deadline. Let's not forget that,
Yeah.
Juan Soto, what the fuck has he done? Josh Bell, same story.
In fairness, it feels like the Padres tried at the trade deadline. They really tried to put themselves in the corner. I'm not saying I agreed with everything, and that's what I'm saying. I don't expect perfection, but don't lie to me. Don't sit here and lie to me. And that's what Billy Epler did.
I think, the difference between Epler and AJ Preller.
I don't like AJ Preller.
I don't like him either. Look they just imploded their farm system. The Padres have nobody. They got rid of CJ Abrams, Mackenzie Gore, all these key pieces. Guess what? The Nationals are going to be a good team in a few years. I guarantee it. The NL East.
I didn't have a problem with the Soto deal. I never had a problem with the Soto deal, but I've had a problem with several of his deals. Like the Austin Nola one, I thought was egregious. The Austin Nola one, what that trade with Seattle, I mean, good hell. I mean, just Andres Munoz alone should not have cost Austin Nola. Like, what are we talking? And Ty France, he gave him away in that same trade. That's egregious.
Austin Nola was good for a month, and then
yes,
he was good for a month in 2020. He was good for a month.
He was good for 1 month,
and
you're correct.
He's basically on the same level as any mediocre backup catcher. That's what Austin Nola is. I'd argue that Jorge Alfaro should be that starting catcher for San Diego.
They literally – Ty France made the All-Star team, didn't he?
Yeah. He hit 20 home runs, batted 280 or something like that.
That's the trade that should bother Padres fans.
I have a question for you, Trey.
Okay.
In regards to Kelenic, or however the hell you say his name.
Yeah, Jared Kelenic.
He hasn't done anything at the major league level.
No, he has not.
He has been given all the opportunity in the world. Do you think the Mets still blew that one with Robbie Cano and all that? Because so far, Jared has not done anything for the Seattle Mariners.
He has not. I think it would be fair to say I guess they're winners, but not really at the same time because they ate how much money of Robinson Cano.
Yeah.
Like they should have just gotten Edwin Diaz for eating the Cano contract. They shouldn't have had to give up anything else. Like how much money did they give Cano? I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but I think it was at least like $60-some million.
and he took steroids.
Literally, that actually saved them money. That actually saved them money.
He had a great year that year.
I mean, how much money did they end up paying Cano? It had to be around 60 million, 50 million.
I'm going to look that up right now and just see what's up.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
but like that alone should have gotten you Diaz, because the Mariners, remember back in that time, the Mariners were kind of screwed. Like they had paid Jay Bruce a lot of money. Like they were in no man's land.
All right, I got it here. I got it here. So Robinson,
how much did they pay him?
It was 5 years, $20 million. That's actually not horrible.
Wait, per year or total?
Oh, the Mets still owe him $45 million.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's great that you got Edwin Diaz, but
his contract was 10 years, $240 million. There you go.
And Diaz has pitched great. There's no question about it. But
yeah, he's the best closer in baseball.
But no other team was going to eat that Cano money.
No. They knew he was aging. They knew that he was a liability on the field. He was injury.
But that right there is my whole point about why the pressure is on for the Mets. This is the highest payroll in all of baseball. Nobody else was willing to do this stuff.
Yeah.
And I give Steve Cohen credit. He really wants to win, and that's admirable. That's totally admirable. Like, they went out and spent money for Mark Canha, and they spent money for Sterling Marte, and I mean, Max Scherzer didn't want to go to the fucking Mets. He wanted to stay with the Dodgers. But Steve Cohen gave him so much money that he wasn't going to say no.
But Steve Cohen did the right thing there. He did the right thing there. You know, I'm not a believer in long-term deals. I like the 3 years, the AAV or whatever,
but like
the short contracts that, they make $35 million, $40 million a year. I will say this too, the Trevor Bauer contract at the time, that was smart for the Dodgers. I don't think I don't think long-term contracts should be implemented. Look at Wander Franco. He hasn't done anything for the Rays, but it's really taking a very, dangerous route, I think. You look what happened with Fernando Tatis down in San Diego.
Well,
come on now.
I've been on record multiple times. If I was running the Mets, I would have tanked them. I would have traded DeGrom. I would have traded everybody. But I mean, if you're gonna give me a $300 million payroll, I mean, shit. Like at some point, you're gonna get somewhere. Like Scherzer's gonna win you games, and Starling Marte has won them games, and Mark Canha has won them games, and Eduardo Escobar has won them games. Like there's no question about that stuff. So you can't go into the trade deadline and land minnows. It's just egregious.
They had to go for Wilson Contreras.
If they lose this first round series to the Padres and decide not to pitch to Grom, can you imagine the riots that should be thrown in New York City? Like he should be in prison. He really should.
Yeah. It's pathetic.
I don't know if they're going to beat the Padres. I really don't. But I can't believe they're like, nah, we're not going to pitch them.
I really think they will. I think Bassett and
this has to be a bluff. It has to be a bluff.
No, it has to. Maybe they're thinking about maybe he's going to be a long reliever or something. Maybe there's a game plan there that we do not know. I mean, the Dodgers considered using Julio Urias as not a starter either. And he's
but he's a different guy. I could have DeGrom out there throw 8 innings.
That's true. But the problem is, too, you got to think about it like this. This is a short series. Mets really don't have an 8th inning guy. I mean, Adam Ottavino possibly, but
he's had a good year.
You need that bridge. You need that bridge to Diaz. And this is a do or die situation. Think about how badly the Mets will look if they lose to the San Diego Padres, like we talked about. You got to throw in one of your starting pitchers. I mean, it's a 2 or 3 game series. You have nothing to lose. Put DeGrom in the 8th.
By the way, this is an 89 win Padre year. Like I know people want to say, hey, and you're going to get, I don't want your ego to get out of whack, but this is a Dodgers team that won a lot of fucking games, like a record setting
111, man.
111 games. The Padres won 89.
Yeah.
So if the Mets don't win this, it's going to look real bad. It's going to this isn't losing to the Dodgers rival. This isn't losing. Like if you guys lose to the Braves, it's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
This is losing to the fucking Padres.
I
This is
remember
going home and losing to the Minnesota Vikings in the playoffs. This ain't
last
losing to
year,
the Packers and Rodgers.
last year the Dodgers lost to the 88-win Braves, and I felt pretty sad about that. So,
but that Braves team was young.
They were young and they were on a hot tear. They were on a
Yes.
hot streak, and they got hot at the right time.
Yeah.
And that's something that needs to be considered too. It's about the teams that are hot, not the best teams. So
that is true.
At the same time, even though, the Mets might not be the hottest team, even if they have an early exit, you got to be somewhat proud as to where the Mets come from.
I wouldn't be.
Just with all the signings and such.
Yeah, with all the, I mean, you can't sport this payroll. This was their year. This is only going to get worse.
Scherzer is going to get more and more hurt next year. I can already see that. DeGrom is a two-time bomb as well.
DeGrom's going to opt out of his contract this year. And there are a lot of rumors that suggest, because he's from the state of Florida, that he would prefer to go south, that he would like to go to the Braves, maybe the Rangers. Not saying he won't resign with the Mets, but man, you walk out of this season, you lose to the Padres and then lose to Grom. There's going to be a lot of finger pointing. And it's going to be their fault.
I always find it interesting that Texas is always a landing spot for young players and such. You got Corey Seager going over there, Marcus Semien, players like that. They have some young talent there, but I still think they're about 3 or 4 years out. And I don't think DeGrom is the answer, frankly.
I don't disagree with the Rangers part of it. There have been rumors that he's from Florida. He would prefer to go south.
Got you. No Florida teams, though.
Well, I mean, the Marlins aren't paying anybody, so.
And the Rays wouldn't go after that. They're too – the smartest team in baseball wouldn't go after a high-profile name like Jacob.
Well, they don't have the budget.
Yeah, instead they want to throw money at Wander Franco for some reason.
So, the Met fans, I will be in full attack. I will be in full attack if the Mets go home early. They have to, if they do not at least put up a fight against the Dodgers, it's got to be a fight. It's got to be a good 7-game series. I maybe leave them alone. But anything less than that is full attack mode.
Do you think the Mets are also being kind of cocky in a way? Oh, we're going to save DeGrom for game one against DeGrom and Kershaw, game one of the NLDS.
Totally. They have
that attitude. They want that.
Totally. They have taken a shit in their own house and refused to acknowledge that it smells. That's what the Mets have done.
I wouldn't count out, though, that maybe DeGrom pitches the 8th inning. I know that's weird. I know Kershaw, he came in relief. He's done that before, in the postseason. It's been good and bad, but to have that dominant of a pitcher just throw one clean inning to get to Diaz, that might be the case. I really think so. I stand by that.
Last thing on the Mets.
Sure.
You better win game one. You better win game one because Yu Darvish is on the mound, and that guy's a choke artist. If you don't win game one with Scherzer out there, oh, boy. In a short series, oh, boy.
And they're in New York. Let's not forget that. Yeah, all 3 games are going to be in New York.
They are at home with Scherzer on the mound playing against Yu Darvish. If you don't win game one, I don't want to know what the panic meter is going to be in that building. I'm just going to say that.
You don't want to be in Flushing. You don't want to be anywhere in Queens during that time if they lose.
You better win game one, Mets. That's all I'm going to say. You better win game one.
Do you think Francisco Alvarez makes the playoff roster?
I feel like he has to at this point. You can't have Darren Ruff on the playoff roster, even if he's healthy. You can't. How can you?
God, no.
So,
I mean, it's like the same case with the Dodgers. Do you put Joey Gallo?
I'd rather take my shot with Vientos.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah. I think they're screwed at this point. They have no choice but to trust the kids.
Yeah. Let's be real, too. I'm kind of changing.
Be real. Is it time for your Be Real?
Yeah, Be Real. I actually just downloaded it yesterday. Let's do it. No, I'm kidding. I
don't have that.
I don't know how the hell to use it, by the way. It's a random app. It's another social
media. I'm out on it.
Yeah. But let's actually be real and talk about the fact that Joey Gallo coming to Los Angeles did nothing to him offensively. he was still the same player he was in New York. And all these Dodger fans, came around and embraced him. I guess he's better, in a sense of mental health.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he did not
well, sunnier outside. The city doesn't smell like trash.
Yeah, you don't have rats running around you.
Yeah.
He gets to wake up at the beach, Manhattan Beach, which is freaking gorgeous. You ever gone out there in Southern California? It's the pristine beach location. And he gets to relax.
It's better than living in trash. So I'm sure.
But let's be real here. The stats didn't change. He still batted 162 as a Dodger. And his OPS was like 70.
Not surprising.
OPS plus. Mostly OPS plus there.
None of that's surprising.
I don't know if he makes the playoff roster because you got Chris Taylor, that hot bat coming. Cody Bellinger's actually hitting now, which is insane to me. He is
326 in the last 15 games.
326 in his last 15 games.
Okay. Let me ask you this question.
Sure.
Who are you more nervous about playing? St. Louis or Philly?
I'm going to go with Philadelphia, actually.
I think I agree with you, but I'm not positive. It's just the Cardinals in the playoffs. Something about it. They have
a weird, strange magic.
They have weird runs. I hate that, but other than that, I think I agree with you.
Yeah. Philadelphia, I could see them pulling something out of nowhere.
Mostly because I do trust their starting pitching.
That's what I'm saying.
Trust their starting pitching. I like Austin Nola a lot. Oh, wait, did I get that right? Aaron Nola.
Aaron Nola. There you go.
Talk about the other guy that long. Aaron Nola. I think he's actually really good. I don't know why Philly fans or other fans don't like him. I think his stuff's nasty. I think he can pitch.
Ryan Wheeler too. Ryan Wheeler is
Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler's good.
Zach Wheeler, not Ryan Wheeler. I don't know.
I like freaking Suarez, Ranger Suarez. He's good. He's good. He's good.
He's a very good pitcher, and they basically got him for nothing. And you can't discount that offense either. I mean, Harper and Schwarber.
You never know when Schwarber is going to hit one out. You never know when Castellanos is going to hit one out.
Something bad has to happen for Castellanos. There has to be like an earthquake or like a tornado or something. That's the joke.
Yeah.
That could be a fun series.
Yeah.
I think that could be an interesting series. I don't think Philly could take it. Absolutely not. But I think they'll put up a good fight against LA for sure.
How much do you love Freddie Freeman?
I love him more than Matt Olson. That's for sure. I mean,
we'll see how long he's better than Matt Olson for, but right now, definitely.
He is everything I hoped for.
Yeah.
Maybe even more.
He's had a great year.
He's had a great year. Power numbers down, but it doesn't matter. He batted 325, drove in 100 runs.
He's always great defensively.
Yeah, always good defensively. He actually hustled on the base paths this year. I think he had like 15.
Oh, he can run. He can run.
Yeah. He's a hustler. He led the National League in runs scored. He had like 117 runs scored this year. He is. I think he's the Dodgers MVP over Mookie Betts. I dare say that.
I agree with you. That's why I wanted to ask. I agree with you.
Yeah, I think he should be. I don't think he's going to win MVP. I think it's going to be either Goldschmidt or Arenado, but he should definitely be in the top 5 in terms of voting because he was a big reason why the Dodgers went from, where they were last year to where they are now.
Yes.
And I think he could 100%. Be that difference maker in terms of, having that veteran but amazing offensive ability to carry your offense. And that's what happened last year with the Braves when Freddie was on that team. He has that experience.
Totally. Who's your World Series picks? And then let me do like 5 minutes on the Sox and we'll see what you have to say.
Sounds good. I got to get going soon anyways, but yeah, let's do this soon. All right. So for the National League, it's going to be either LA or Braves. And then for the American League, I don't see anybody else other than the Astros. I really don't.
I have Toronto over Dodgers.
Interesting.
That was my before the season pick, and it will be my current pick.
Interesting. I know you love Toronto.
I love Toronto.
There is a lot to love. Alek Manoah is an amazing pitcher. They have a deep staff. I mean, I thought losing Ryu was going to be really bad for them, but you had young guys like Ross Stripling, former Dodger.
They've gotten the Gaussman and Robbie Ray swap correct.
Yeah. Gaussman
gotten it correct.
They were able to see what he was doing in San Francisco last year.
His splitter, you just can't hit it.
Yeah.
You just can't hit a splitter.
I love Gaussman. I think he's an amazing pitcher. Ross Stripling, he's doing a great job over there.
Yeah. I would love if Barrios had some kind of magic in the playoffs because he hasn't pitched as well.
Yeah. And then Ryu's
offense, there's just something about their offense. If George Springer is hot and he puts the pressure on and you got to pitch through that lineup, I just don't know how you do it. I just don't.
What about the kids? What about Biggio, Guerrero, and Bichette? Do you see them showing up in the playoffs?
Yes, I think Vlad is a true aircraft carrier. I think Vlad is awesome. Vlad terrifies me every time he's up at bat.
Do you think he's going to be better than his dad once his career is all set and done?
Yes.
I could see it.
Yeah.
I think he's a better hitter than his dad.
I think he's a better hitter. He's not as good of a runner.
Oh, goodness, no. He's a truck. He's a truck on the base paths.
Yeah.
He hits the big flies. He gets on base. I mean, every year he's going to hit 35 home runs, driving 100 RBIs, and then get on base 400 clip,
To me, the X factor is Bichette. I feel like he's not an elite shortstop. I know a lot of people disagree with me. I don't love him defensively, but man, like he can hit some rockets.
I agree. I think Springer's the X factor. Actually, I think
if he's hot, their whole team's different.
That's
their
whole
team's different.
He's their leadoff man. He's been their leadoff man for the whole year. And
if he's hot and he's on base, man, they're hard to beat.
They're very hard to beat. Very tough. I'm excited. We'll see what happens. If they catch fire, your prediction might be right. But to be honest,
that was my before the season prediction, so I have to stick with it.
You got to stick with it.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, Astros, come on, let's be real. They're too damn good. They're too damn good. There you go. I mean, Yordan Alvarez.
Yeah, he's sick. He used to be a Dodger prospect.
I know. Kill me. And then Altuve is having an MVP caliber year too. He won't win it, but he is.
I wish they could just have Correa for the playoffs.
He's not staying in Minnesota. He's going to be. I bet he goes back to Houston. I could see that happening.
I don't know where he's going to go, but I have this sad feeling that if Bogarts does leave, I think they're going to get him.
Well, the Dodgers could be in the same boat if they get rid of, or if Trey Turner doesn't re-sign with LA. And I know Trey Turner is going to be asking for a ton of money. He could go to LA.
I just know that Alex Cora loves him.
Yeah, the cheating buddies.
2 minutes on the Sox, and then I'll let you go.
Okay.
Man, everything that happened, I just knew it was coming.
Yeah,
I just knew it was coming. Their assistant GM, I said that article in the Slack. He basically admitted they fucked up, stayed over the tax. It was ridiculous. Yep. I think this season should be marked as a total failure. I don't know what's coming this offseason. I have no idea, but I really hope he calls me. And anything short of, Bogarts has to come back. A Devers extension needs to be done.
Yep.
And this team, if they give me this, we got to get under the tax. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it because you just could have did it at the trade deadline. I don't want to hear it. They better spend money this offseason. They better spend money.
Yeah.
They better spend money this offseason. That's all I want. They better spend.
Trey, I kind of called it. Not last year. Actually, no, last year I did. I remember I said that the Red Sox are in a downward spiral, and you were like, nah.
They didn't have to be. They didn't have to be. This is a team that just made the ALCS the year before, and we're 2 games away from going to the World Series, and they shit the bed.
I called my shot a year early.
Everything that happened was totally predictable. What did I say? Why did you give up Schwarber? Why did you not keep Schwarber? League leading NL home run leader. What are we talking about?
Now you have Durbin playing center field, who's dropping fly balls, allowing inside the park grand slams.
He's horrible.
Terrible.
He can't fucking play.
He's like, and he doesn't give a shit. You could tell on his face. Like when he gave up on that fly ball, he kind of just sat out there, and it was almost like he shrugged. He sucks.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He shouldn't have a job in Major League Baseball. He should not be making league minimum whatsoever to stand out there in center field and watch a fly ball go over his head.
He's horrible.
Yeah.
Everything that happened.
Predictable.
I just hope he calls me. couple things that I think they should do. You got to bring back Tommy Pham. I mean, at least have a professional out there that's better. Like having Dahlbeck in the fucking roster and Franchi Cordero, like those days got to be done. I don't want to see it. And Jaron Duran, no more.
You got to be careful with this fantasy football outlook, though.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll take a slap. Won't be the first. Won't be the last.
Just don't add Jock Peterson to the active roster either.
Fair enough. All right, Milo. Any closing thoughts? You good?
I'm excited for this weekend. I think that this new format in terms of the wild card series is great for baseball. I don't think it's organized well in terms of seeding, and that can be ironed out.
Better than the wild card game.
It's absolutely better. You have teams that go all out for an entire year, wind up, do or die game, not in front of their home fans.
I don't hate the buy idea either.
I don't hate it either. It makes
the regular season should matter.
Yep. Regular season should matter. And I think there's more emphasis, obviously, on it when you have a wild card series.
Fair enough.
I guess that's
Milo Coulter. Make sure to follow him. What's your Twitter?
Milo BC1 or something like that. Thanks for having me, Trey. Have a wonderful day. And
thank you.
I look forward to chatting with you about the games this weekend.
Okay. All right.
Take it easy, Milo, man.
Yeah, you too. Appreciate having you.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Peace out.
Bye.